Hello Year 3, welcome back to another week of videos. I hope you've all had a lovely weekend. Today we're going to start off with our guided reading. We've got some clues here that tell us what today's text is going to be about. So we've got somebody here, they look a little bit like a detective, a spy maybe, and they look like they make sure that they don't get seen by anybody. They look like they're hiding. We've also got some jewels. And then we've got another person hiding. This time they're hiding in a bush and they are looking for somebody. And then we've got this setting of the street at night time. Okay, so what could the text be about? Pause the video now and write down your predictions. Make sure you use the pictures to help you. Okay, let's see if your predictions were correct. We're going to read the text together, so grab your copy of the text from your home learning pack. Don't forget, as I'm reading, to underline any words that you're unsure of, and then we can come back to those later. So the text is called Go Ahead Secret 7. The man came along. He was a tall, stooping fellow wearing a hat and carrying a bag. Good. Suppose there were stolen jewels in that bag. George would trail him right to his home, and he would then know where this supposed robber lived. It seemed very real somehow, not pretense. The night was dark. The man came along without guessing that a boy was pressing himself into the shadows of a bush, and George suddenly found his heart beginning to thump. The man passed. Now, to follow him without being seen. If he spotted George, then George had failed. But George was certain that he could shadow the man right back to his house without once being seen. He came out from the bush and began to follow the man, keeping well into the darkness of the trees that lined the road. Down to the corner of the road, round the corner. Be careful now. Creep round the corner, in case the man knows he is being followed. George crept cautiously, his rubber truncheon in his hand, pretending to himself that there might be a great danger from a fierce thief. He heaved a sigh of relief. There was the man, halfway down the road. George trotted on after him. Look behind you, George, as well as in front. Quick, George, look behind you. But George didn't look behind him. He only looked in front and followed the man steadily. Once, when he stopped to tie his shoelace, George darted into a nearby gate, afraid the man might turn around and see him. He crept out after half a minute and saw the man walking on again, swinging his bag. After him went George, deciding to get a little nearer so that he could see exactly where the man lived when he went into his house. Okay. So, let's have a think about some of the words that you might have underlined. So one of the words that you might have underlined is stooping. How can we work out the meaning of this word? What different strategies have we got? We could use a dictionary if you've got one there, or we could read around the word. So let's have a look at the sentence that the word stooping is in. So it says, the man came along. He was a tall, stooping fellow wearing a hat and carrying a bag. So the word is describing the way the man looks, okay? And if you are stooping, you are usually bending your head or your body forwards and downwards, just like this picture here. So it tells us that he's very tall and he's keeping his head down, maybe to hide from people and to not be seen. Okay, so if you've got any other words now, pause the video and spend some time finding the meaning of these words. You can use a dictionary or you can try to read the sentence that the word is in. Once you've done that, come back for the questions. Okay, so now we're ready to go through some of the questions. I'm going to go through the first two with you and then you can have a go at the rest. So question 1 says, how do you think George is feeling at the beginning of the story? And how do you know that? So let's have a look back at our text and look at the beginning. So here is where George spots the man. He might be feeling a little bit excited when he sees the man. And then this is where he is deciding whether to follow the man. And it says here, he found his heart beginning to thump. Now, if your heart's beating quickly, you're usually feeling quite scared or nervous. So I'm going to put that for my answer. I think George is feeling scared and nervous because it says his heart started thumping. Now the next question, number 2, says, why is this story set at night? Okay, so we know that George is trying to follow somebody, and it's much easier to do that at night time. It's more difficult to see things. And it also probably makes the reader a little bit scared as they are reading it, okay? It creates the atmosphere in the text. So I'm going to put, I think the story is set at night so George can hide from the man. It makes the reader feel scared too. Okay, so now it's your turn to answer the rest of the questions in your pack. Make sure that you do use the text to help you. Try to use examples from the text to support your answer, just like we did in question 1. And then for the rest of this week for reading, you will have independent comprehensions to do. And then I will see you next Monday for another guided reading lesson.